So I want you to look back to 2008 when the Obama campaign came out. And the Obama campaign certainly put out a lot of rhetoric about making big structural changes to the US economy, that they were going to fundamentally change the way the economy worked and get it working for average Americans. Again, they realized that this economy is rigged for the rich. It only works for the upper income earners, and something's got to be done. Not just something small, not something incremental, but something big. We need big changes. That's what we were told. Well, as soon as they came into office, they started with the incrementalism, the watering down their proposals. They started getting beat by the Republicans almost immediately, who play excellent opposition. They just cry about the deficit all day long. They got beat by them. They allowed the Republicans to water down their proposals, even though they still weren't going to vote for them anyway. And yeah, so after 8 years of very gradual, incremental, little things here, little things there, was the economy in better shape? Of course it was. It couldn't have been any worse than it was in, 2008, but they still failed to address the structural problems in our economy that make this economy work primarily for the high income earners, the wealthy. That's still the case, as much, if not more than it was in 2008. Americans are working harder and longer for less. It's been that way for a while, and it doesn't look like that's going to change. So instead of coming to the American people and saying, yes, we've made some progress, we are definitely better off than we were 8 years ago. Now it's time to take what we've done and take it to the next level. Now it's time to not just have a halfway healthcare bill, but a real healthcare program for the nation. It's now time to get wages up. How are we going to do that? Have that debate, have that discussion. But they didn't. And these corporate Democrats, they must have been grinning like a Cheshire cat, because they could not believe their luck. They could not believe their luck. They felt like they were the luckiest people on the world. They found themselves with the Republican Party nominating Donald Trump, who every day goes out there and he just says things that the media goes nuts over. He tweets all kinds of crass comments, and he uses unpresidential language, and he's not presidential, and he talks mean to people, and you look at the language he uses. He grabs women by the genitals. Oh my gosh. They said we don't necessarily have to promise anything to the American people. Actually, we can just sit back and bash Donald Trump for the whole election. We'll just point out everything he does and be outraged. But you see, we don't have to um, go on and present an agenda to the American people. Our agenda is going to be, we're better than Trump, or can't can't believe Trump. You can't have Trump in the White House, can you? So instead of coming to the American people and saying, the American people are saying my deductibles are too high, my copays are going up, what's going on? Instead of telling them, yes, we understand that. So here is our 10-year plan to get to Medicare for all within 10 years. And it's going to save money, and this is how it's going to work. So instead of doing that, they said, yeah, we know your deductibles, yeah, they're high, and they're going to be getting even higher. But can you imagine if you had Donald Trump in the White House? Oh my gosh, look at all the stuff that he says. Look at this. He said a mean thing about this person. Look at that. Look at the language he uses. So instead of going to the American people and saying, yes, the cost of an education is outrageous, and this is our plan, X number of years to get to tuition free college. This is how we pay for it, and we'll all be better off without this student loan bomb ready to kill our economy. And while we're at that, this is what we do for those who already have loans. This is how we're going to help make those much more affordable so they don't ruin our economy. They say, yeah, yeah, college tuition, it always goes up, doesn't it? Um, yeah, we definitely support Pell Grants and, helping with the loans a little bit and, lower interest rates a little bit here. So, yeah, college costs a lot. It's going to cost even more in the future, but look at Donald Trump. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Look at what he tweeted. Look at this. This person, this doctor says he's mentally unstable. Look at that. Look at what he eats. He goes to McDonald's. He'll start a war. He'll go to war with this country. He'll go to war with that country. He's unstable. He'll nuke North Korea. You don't want him with the nuclear codes, do you? You don't want Donald Trump with the nuclear codes. Look at that. He used profanity on the stage. Do you want a president who uses profanity on the stage when he's talking to his supporters? Do you want that? So instead of coming to the American people and saying, this is our plan for wages. Yes, we've been in a 40-year period where the wages have been abysmal, and this is what we're going to do to correct it. This is our jobs program. This is our minimum wage program. This is how we are going to get wages up. This is our plan to get the minimum wage for the private sector to $15 an hour within 5 years. And this is our federal jobs program where anybody who cannot find a job in the private sector, we will get them a job. It won't pay as much with the federal government, but we will get you a job. There will be no American who wants a job, who wants to work and is willing to work and can't work. It'll still incentivize people to look for work in the private sector because it'll pay better, but there will be a floor where below which you cannot go. They didn't do that. What did they do? They said, well, yeah, wages, they've been down, they've been bad. Yeah, we know. Um, but with automation and everything, the higher we make the minimum wage, then it'll incentivize these companies to automate even more jobs. So you're going to lose your job, but it'll be even faster with a higher minimum wage. So maybe if we put it like 11 or 12, you'll still be in poverty, but you'll be in poverty for longer than you'll be jobless. So you'll be in poverty, then you'll be jobless. So yeah, that's pretty bad. It sucks. It's a real hard problem. We've got our economists working on it right now, we promise you. But in the meantime, did you see what Donald Trump tweeted last night? Did you see? Did you see who he might have had an affair with? Did you see? Um, Look at that rally. Oh, those mean, nasty, disgusting, deplorable people there. I there's some racists in that crowd. They don't like people that don't look like them. Did you see what Donald Trump said about immigrants? Oh, terrible. Is this the man you want with the nuclear launch codes? He's erratic. He'll go nuking countries on a whim. He wakes up in the morning, he'll decide to nuke China. And instead of coming to the American people and saying, we messed up in Libya, Egypt, and Syria, our bad. We thought we were doing the right thing, but we got it wrong. From now on, under a Democratic administration, all of our efforts in the Middle East are solely going to be directed at counterterrorism. We are not going to be backing sides in civil wars. We are not going to be toppling governments. We are not going to be doing any of that. We're confining our operations to anti terrorism, Al Qaeda, ISIS. That's it. We have no business being involved in their civil wars. We don't, it's not, it's not our region. And in a lot of cases, we've made things worse by what we've done. We took Libya and dropped it down the toilet. You now had the rise of ISIS and a much more fundamentalist Egypt than we had before. No. What'd they do? They came out and said, we still want to topple Assad. We want to topple Assad. We haven't learned any lessons from anything else over there. Topple Assad, let the pieces fall where they may. ISIS will probably mop up most of the country, whatever. Assad is not a Boy Scout, so, there you go. So, therefore, any rebellion against him is good. But listen, we are on top of these generals over there. We are micromanaging everything that they do over there. We're on top of every unit, nothing gets done without say so from Washington. So we're keeping a tight grip on everything, and nothing's going to happen without our say so. And you can probably never defeat ISIS. It's intrinsic to the region. You can probably never um, loosen their grip. So it's kind of just going to have to be something we live with, but we don't want to let our troops over there um, go too far in fighting ISIS. So we're keeping a tight grip on that. Donald Trump, if he takes over, he might nuke ISIS, but even if he doesn't do that, he is not going to be on top of these generals like we are. He is not going to be micromanaging every pull of a trigger from Washington D.C. He's not going to do that. He's going to give commanders on the ground the authority to do things on their own, to make tactical battlefield decisions, and you know we don't want that. So these corporate Democrats are trying the same plan right now. They're not promising anything because they don't want to do anything. They don't have any intention of doing anything to get the economy working for the 99% again. They don't want to commit to any of it. But they think they can win just by pointing out everything Donald Trump is doing, and that's it. They think that's going to win the day for them. And if you think you're going to put forward a corporate shill like Cory Booker or Joe Biden, and they're going to beat Donald Trump in 2020, I hate to tell you, it's not going to happen. The only way that could happen is if this economy collapses before then, which is possible. I mean, we are on a Obama slash Trump rickety economy. It will collapse at some point. The only question is, does that happen now, or does that happen um, after 2020?